Wushu here, back with another video. Obviously it's very dark because it is almost 10 o'clock at night. I'm driving home from a thing, but I thought I'd go ahead and give my thoughts on the Nintendo Direct that happened today. The E3 Nintendo Direct, of course, obviously that's what it is, that happened today. First of all, overall, probably one of the better Nintendo Directs ever. You can see me pretty well because there's a guy with his brake lights on completely. Oh, there we go. Much better. So I mean, first things first, because it was the first thing that happened in the trailer. The Dragon Quest Heroes are coming to Smash this summer. Which, of course, summer means probably by the end of August. Probably before that, I could see late July. Maybe after, Fire Emblem Three Houses is out. And it's, sat for a good week or two. They'll be ready to release Dragon Quest. Ooh. Gotta not crash. So that's really exciting. I don't have very much experience with the Dragon Quest series. I played the crap out of 9, but that's not really... I've come to kind of realize that it's a little bit less of a normal Dragon Quest game. For one thing, completely customizable protagonist, etc. As far as I understand, most of the rest of the games have a set protagonist of sorts. I mean, like, you name him and stuff, but he's got his own personality. It's like Tidus in Final Fantasy X. You can technically name him, but he's still freaking Tidus. He's still got his crazy, weird, mildly annoying personality. So that was really cool. I'm just trying to remember everything so I can cover everything. I guess while we're talking about Smash, the other thing, Banjo-Kazooie. Frick yes, Banjo-Kazooie. I was never a Nintendo 64 kid, but I've seen the influence of Banjo-Kazooie on so many different things and how much people love him. So I'm just excited. He looks like a pretty fun character to mess around with. He's a character that, actually punches things. Like, no one punches things in it feels like no one punches things in Smash Bros. Except for Captain Falcon and Mario. But anyway, lot of weapon characters in Smash Bros. But so I think that's pretty cool. I saw a whole bunch of the different classic Banjo-Kazooie moves. I mean, Kazooie fires eggs. They had something with like one of those flap pads. So that was cool. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff. So he looks like a really great character, and I'm excited. I'm not as excited as some people, because some people, actually grew up with Banjo-Kazooie. I grew up with Super Mario World. That was me. Anyway, so that's really exciting. They announced 2 characters at once, which means there's just 2 to go before, like, February 2020. I'm pretty excited for some of the ports that are coming. I guess we can kind of I'll move over into JRPGs. And just RPGs. I'm kind of excited for The Witcher 3, because I've heard a ton of good stuff about it. I've heard a lot. I mean, I'm pretty sure it won Game of the Year that year. So, I mean, it's a really solid RPG, big Western one. Western. I mean, it's like, what is it? It's Polish, right? It's a Polish company, Polish series. So, but that's really cool. So I want to try that out and play it. I mean, the Secret of Mana, the Trials of Mana remake that's coming, that looked pretty cool. There was also The Last Remnant. Looked kind of interesting. And I hopped on the eShop, and it's only $20 for, I think, is a remaster of like a PS3 game. So I might look into that, because I just looked at a couple screenshots and stuff. Looked kind of cool. I'm not as super interested in like Astral Chain. It looks pretty interesting. It looks good. I don't know. It's probably gonna be one of those JRPGs that gets a cult following pretty quickly, but never, reaches the heights of stuff like a Final Fantasy release. But that's all right. A Final Fantasy or a Xenoblade. Let's see, what else was there? I think I covered most of the RPGs. There are a couple like action games that weren't quite as interesting to me, like Empire of Sin and I'm Daemon Ex Machina. I'm sure those will be at least. Daemon Ex Machina looks pretty good. It looks like a good game. I'm just not that interested in it, but that's alright. I can't be interested in everything. I mean, and then there was the Breath of the Wild sequel that they're teasing. That looks really cool. I've heard rumblings, people talking about that they kind of want it to be like the Majora's Mask to Breath of the Wild, where it uses like a similar map, uses some assets, so it can come out quicker, but just have like a darker, cooler really cool story. Because, I mean, like it or not, what Breath of the Wild had for story was good, but it was pretty lacking overall. The story existed, but it was in the background. You didn't even have to go after like the memories hardly, and that's where like 60-70% of the actual story and cutscenes are, is in those, what was it, 14 memories? Not that they weren't good. They're so freaking good. The fact that I care about Mipha, this random fish woman, in like 7 minutes of cutscenes, that's pretty cool to me. That was something that Breath of the Wild definitely did great. But so like in the teaser for that, there's like the corpse dude who falls over, and he kind of looks like one of the, like, rotting, desiccated elders from the shrines in Breath of the Wild, except his eyes like are the red fireball a little bit. Almost looks a little bit like the Eye of Sauron. And that just reminded me of the red eyes on Majora's Mask. And I don't know. Majora's Mask was just so good. I need to go replay it at some point soon. But I really think it would be really interesting to delve deeper into that character, because ultimately there's like nothing behind it, and there is still a niche in the Zelda story, the overall story, with those dark interlopers who created the Fused Shadows and created Majora's Mask, because the two are kind of two separate items that serve the same function. They're like weapons of mass destruction, of evil. But anyway, all of that. The Link's Awakening remake still looks great. The other thing on JRPGs, Ni no Kuni frick yes, Ni no Kuni. I still haven't freaking played it. I want to so bad, and I'm excited it's coming to Switch, because even just everyone who's ever played it that I've talked to says it's so good, and so much effort went into it from like Studio Ghibli and their work on it, that it deserves plenty of ports and a remaster or two, just to continue the everything involved in that. Crap, now I'm trying to remember what it is. Which game was it? Oh yeah, that's what it is. Freaking Cuphead. It's like Cuphead. Cuphead, they put so much effort into all that 2D animation that game needs to survive and, you know, be remastered for Project Scarlet or whatever, and the PS5. It's just that kind of thing that it should be there. It's one of those. Cuphead might be very few people's favorite game, but you have to admit, just the straight artistry of that is super, super cool. What else am I forgetting about? I mean, this is more so the Pokemon Direct. Pokemon Sword and Shield look great. I don't know what else. I hope I can't remember. Is like the Final Fantasy VIII remaster coming to Switch? Because it really should. Because from what I could tell of that, it's an HD port. So it can run on the freaking Switch. Okay, just bring the remastered version over once you get it done, Square Enix. If it wasn't already on there. But yeah, there's lots of cool stuff coming. I'm excited. Oh yeah, Fire Emblem Three Houses. That was the other big thing. That it looks really cool. And I enjoyed Fire Emblem Awakening. I enjoyed Fates. I haven't played a lot of the other ones. I played a little bit of the very first one that came to the West with Lynn, like years ago. You know, because it's 16 years old now, 17. This came out in like 2002, 2003. So it's old. But it was good. Fire Emblem is a really good series, and it's definitely something that deserves the full scaling up of like an HD console, because I don't know, the roots of Fire Emblem are so modest, of still, you know, the still sprite cutscenes on the Game Boy Advance, that I totally want to see a fully realized Fire Emblem game. Which I guess I think it was like that with Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn to a certain extent, but I've never been able to play those because they didn't sell overly well, so they're kind of rare, so they're expensive. Plus, I've never owned a freaking GameCube, like the weirdo I am. And, you know, wasn't exactly buying a ton of Wii games, because I was like 14 when that was a big thing. You know, 10 years ago. Gosh, I'm old. Not really. So I think that's going to be about it. The Direct was great. Nintendo's as strong as ever. I mean, people talk about people winning E3, but I don't know. As far as I could tell, the only company that even competes with Nintendo in terms of their E3 presentations this year is Square Enix. And that's because Square Enix has Final Fantasy VII Remake under their belt there, along with a couple other things. I mean, in terms of other stuff, I think is pretty cool that's coming. The Outer Worlds by Obsidian Entertainment looks pretty great. It's like a legally distinct Fallout New Vegas, where it totally looks and feels like a Fallout game, but it's not. They're just like, yeah, it's not. Because if you're not really aware, Fetch, I don't even know if this is actually true, but I'm pretty sure Obsidian, like, I think they've changed the name over the years, but Obsidian created the first 2 Fallout games, then handed it to Bethesda for 3 and 4, but made New Vegas on the side with 3's engine. So Obsidian are really the ones behind Fallout in a lot of ways. 3 just popularized it for them. I don't know. You can talk to just about any Fallout fan and they'll probably tell you New Vegas is better than 3 or 4. So, shrug. But Final Fantasy VII Remake, I like. It looks great. Looks solid. They're apparently fleshing out the first section of the original game into like its own like 30-hour experience, probably, because they're making it its own game. What was like the first third? Was it even the first third of Final Fantasy VII? It was like disc 1 of 3 or 4. Anyway, the point being, I'd love, because the Final Fantasy VII Remake has been in the works. Like, they've been showing it at E3 for like multiple years. So it's been in the works for a long time. And I feel like they're just doing it right. Because they have to get Final Fantasy VII right. Otherwise, people will abandon Square Enix. Like, no joke, people will do that. The Final Fantasy VII Remake sucks. People will be like, well, screw it, Monolith Soft is gonna take Square Enix's place now. Or some crap. I don't know. Obviously, there are other companies that make great JRPGs. I mean, Atlas makes Persona and Shin Megami Tensei. And those are pretty good. Pretty profitable. I mean, I've been talking for too long. Freak, 18 minutes. That's alright. I'm getting home, sort of. Alright. Until next time, Gamer Who Shoe out. You can't see me salute, but I salute.